for you. For now your family are okay, as long as you do what we say. Don't hurt them, I'm coming. On the table, that was my half of the deal. In the briefcase, now we need 2 million We know who you're working for. Just say the word and MI5 break down the door. Don't trust him, he's bluffing. On the table, that was my half of the deal. In the briefcase, now we need 2 million more. Sky is falling. Here come the angels dressed in black. It's not quite clear who will live and who shall on the table, that was my half of the deal. In the briefcase, now we need 2 million more. On the table, that was my half of the deal. In the briefcase, now we need 2 million more.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope you've had a good start to the weekend. And a big shout out to the early birds who were here last night. The really early birds, because I think YouTube sent out a notification for tonight's live stream last night. So I think there were a few people waiting around, and there were a few comments when I had a look at the live stream early, or I guess today. Oh no, it's tomorrow today now, because it's Sunday, because we are at 5 minutes past midnight here in the UK. So yeah, it was early yesterday morning technically that I saw that people had been waiting and sent some messages, so apologies for that. But as you guys know, I don't live stream on a Friday night, and I did mention in the video that I released last night about the interview with Phil Palmer that I would see you guys tonight, which is Saturday night. And I did say Saturday night, Greenwich Mean Time, 12 midnight, as we always do. But anyway, so we have got a bit of a really early bird thing going on. But thank you guys for joining in early tonight. And about 11:15 is when I just pop in to say hello and then get into setting everything up. But let me get everything up on screen. First of all, let's get you guys up on screen, the live chat room. There it is. And let's have a look who's in there. We got Maria, Lucy, Samantha, Mary, Shorty Key, Bob's in there, Kevin, Brian, Bev, Lynn, Neil, I'm trying to avoid saying the same names again, but Chris, Teresa in there as well, Robert, Rocker Girl, Charlie, Dwayne. Hello to you guys. Thank you for joining me on tonight's live stream. Maybe you caught the video last night. I'm going to be releasing the interview with Phil Palmer tomorrow night, so look out for that. And I did a video yesterday just to draw everyone's attention to that, because I'll talk about that more in a second. Let me get everything organised on the screen, because my patrons make this all possible in the first place, so a huge shout out to them. Their names go across the bottom of the screen throughout the live streams, so hello to you guys. Their names also pop up in the donations windows as well, so thank you. You know who you are. That is the Patreon website if you want to get involved yourselves. I always say it's the foundation of everything that I do, and it most certainly is. So that's the site if you want to get involved. And if you want to get your name at the bottom of the live streams every Saturday and every Tuesday. So let's get rid of that. As you come through the door, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. Tonight we are aiming for 315 likes, and that target up in the corner, as you can see. We will have a pick roulette next week if we do hit that target, and we are going to be having one tonight because we hit the target last week. So let's have a look as to how many likes we are up to so far. 194 already. We're only 8 minutes into the live stream, but we are knocking at 200 likes door at the moment. Only a couple more people to make that happen, and there, the very definition of a spike of the likes, there it was. We're now up to 206. So thank you for hitting that thumbs up. If you haven't done that, that would be great, and you can keep on doing that. Well, you only got one that you can use, but for anybody that does join into that live chat room, you can do that throughout the live stream, and you can do it on catch up if you're watching this in the future. If you are, hello to the catch up crew. So let me get the donations tab thing up on screen as well to let you guys know that 35 to 45% goes to YouTube through the super chat donations window, and that's just in the comments section of YouTube, and 3 to 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal donations window, and you can find a link to that in the description below, just so you get a lay of the land. So if you feel like donating, you don't have to donate, of course. It's just great that you guys can join me in the live setting on a live stream. That I'm more than happy with that. But if you feel like you really have to donate and you can't stop yourselves, then at least you've got the option, and you know exactly how much goes where and all that percentages kind of stuff. So we have had some early donations that did come in, and obviously they just have disappeared from the screen because that's what YouTube does. Unfortunately, as soon as we go live, they do disappear. But I know that a couple of them did come in before I went live. Actually, it might have come in last night with the live stream that was shown up as happening, but it didn't happen because it was the wrong day. So let me have a little look here, and yes, we did have a few donations that came in. First of all, from Orlando, so thank you for that, Orlando. Let's have a plug of the mug, as we always do when Orlando donates very early on. And if you want to get your hands on a mug or any of the merchandise, click on the tray underneath this video or the link in the description below, because it's also there. It's spring.com, and that's where the store is, but you can click on that link or just click anything in the, if you have got the tray underneath this video, that'll take you straight through to spring.com, and you can get your hands on one of these lovely hoodies that I am modeling tonight. There's t-shirts and caps and all kinds of stuff, and mugs of course over there, so you can head over in that direction if you want to. But thank you for that, Orlando. The message with that is, I must be part of the catch-up crew, but I still say spike the likes with lots of thumbs up. So thank you for that, Orlando, who will be part of that catch-up crew, not joining us live tonight. But then again, you never know with Orlando. Sometimes he does sneak in stealthily just to say hello and then exits. But Orlando, thank you for that donation. Kathy has donated $20. Thank you for that, Kathy. And the message was, I think this was from last night. The message was, winner of Pick Roulette on Friday's stream, Carla Murray. So thank you for that, Kathy. And of course, that is a fictional win because the Friday live streams don't exist. They happen on a Saturday and a Tuesday, as you guys know. But thank you for that, Kathy. And congratulations to Carla for winning last night's Pick Roulette that didn't happen. So Paul, thank you for this $2 donation that says spike the likes and don't be wobbly. Great advice there from Paul. And maybe I'm going to get lots of questions now in the live chat room about wobbly again. But you guys can explain it to everybody else now because I explained it in the last live stream about being wibbly wobbly. So anyway, let's jump back into that live chat room and see who is going through there. We've got Neil and Carla. We can see their massive shout out to the moderators. Their names go through in blue. They have a wrench next to their name as well. And they do such a great job in that live chat room. So thank you guys so much for your time and for just keeping it such a great place to be. And quickly, Jennifer has donated $10 as well, and that's another one that disappeared, but thank you for that, Jennifer. The message is, Phil, she is listening, so you would make Corey's day if you say hi. Also, what Beatles song do you think would be the most fun to play? So thank you for that, Jennifer. And hello to Corey as well, who I think Corey's name is spelled C-O-R-I, unless I'm thinking of another. Corey's is actually a name for a show we have here in the UK called Coronation Street, and it's actually called Corrie, C-O-R-R-I-E. It's just short for Coronation Street, obviously. But hello to Corey as well. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And thinking of a Beatles song that would be fun to play. I'm trying to remember the first song that one of the first songs that I learned to play on the guitar was You Have to Hide Your Love Away. I think that was it. Is that the song title? But it's definitely the Beatles. I'm just wondering whether they abbreviated that because it's quite a long title for a song. But anyway, that's what I first started to play because it had a C shape in there. All of the open chords at the bottom, I had the C and the G and the D in there. So it means that I was practicing moving from one chord shape to the next, and that's the song that I used to play through and use just as a tool to help me to get from one chord to the next. So I had a lot of fun playing that, especially when the chords started to become a little bit more fluid and I could move from one to the next, and the timing became a little bit more solid as well. So yeah, that is a song that I certainly enjoyed playing when I was young, learning to play the guitar. So I would have to go for that one. Anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. And I think we're up to date now because Orlando just popped in to donate $2. Thank you for that, Orlando. I said that Orlando does stealthily just sneak in to that live chat room now and again, and he has, true to form, done that. Hello, Orlando. Thank you for that $2 donation. The message is, I am here. I thought I would not make it, with a laughy face. So thank you for that, Orlando, and everyone say hi to Orlando in that live chat room because he is here tonight. And Stardust Unicorn has donated $5. Support band 2 Wings of Pegasus. Thank you for that, Stardust Unicorn. And that is a straight up donation. So thank you for that. We have had donations happening over on PayPal as well. So I will jump into those. And I do like to address all of the donations, not just the ones that happen in the live streams, but the ones that happen between the live streams as well, because there are a few of those. And I will get through those. But just quickly to mention, we've got the vote going on for tonight's video, and that is between Behind Blue Eyes and Parisian Walkways. So if you want to click on whichever you prefer, then maybe we can have a look at that later depending on which one wins. But at the moment I can see that Behind Blue Eyes has 57% of the vote. So click on whatever you want to hear slightly later in this live stream. Anyway, just quickly into the PayPal donations because I'm just going to scroll down because we had one that came in from Jack, and that was for £7.15. Thank you for that, Jack. And that was very early on Wednesday morning, so that would have been about 2.5 hours, maybe a bit longer, after the previous live stream had finished. So thank you for that, Jack. And because these are spread around a little bit, let me now find the next one, which was here. And this came in from Chuck, so thank you for that, Chuck. And I did send Chuck an email about half an hour ago, but thank you. I'll just acknowledge that on the live stream as well. And just gonna have to skip forward a little bit because that was at 12:51. So that was Wednesday afternoon that one came in from Chuck, so thank you for that. And Nicole donated £15. Thank you for that, Nicole. And when was this? It was on Friday, so yesterday at 13 minutes past 10 in the morning. So thank you for that. And let me have a look here because Debbie donated £5 as well. Thank you for that, Debbie. And actually, yes, that was a donation because I've had CD orders as well. I'll just make sure that sometimes they're song downloads because that all goes through PayPal as well. But thank you for that, Debbie. It is a £5 donation, and that happened at 30 minutes past. That can't be 30 minutes past midnight on Saturday. Or no, yes, it can be. Hang on, Saturday. Technically, we're Sunday morning here. So Saturday evening, I'm just getting confused as to what the time is. It just says Saturday, 30 minutes past midnight. So anyway, thank you for that, Debbie. And obviously my clock in my head isn't quite working. So it might have meant actually this afternoon at 30 minutes past 12, but it doesn't say 12. It says 00. But I thought when it goes to 00, that means it goes into the next day. But I don't know. Anyway, thank you for that, Debbie. I'll try and figure out the timings. And now the donation that came in after that was at 8 minutes past 11 from Tammy. And it was for £10. So thank you for that, Tammy. Which means that the previous one must have been the afternoon. But yeah, I've never seen in the afternoon it change to 00. I thought that's what happens in the evening. So it must be Microsoft. They do their timing slightly differently. But thank you, Tammy, as well for that donation. And I think we're now getting pretty close to, yeah, this one was half an hour ago from Sue. So thank you for that, Sue, and it was for £15. Let me get this up on screen as well, now that we're up to date with everything, and scroll down because there is a message. And the message is, actually, let me just check to see if there was a message with the other ones because we don't want to miss anything out here. And scroll down. Oh no, Tammy, it was a straight up donation. Let me get this up on screen so you guys can see it. So there's Tammy's donation. Thank you for that, Tammy. And just going up, scrolling up. Sue says, have a great night, everyone. I'm picking my daughter up from the airport. She spent the week in Paris. So thank you for that, Sue. And you'll have to let me know if she actually went to Paris Nord, which is the train station in Paris. And I have a song, as some of you may know, that's called Paris Nord. So thank you for that, Sue. And maybe you're going to be picking up your daughter during the live stream. If so, then hello if you're watching this on catch up. And don't watch it while you're driving because that is highly dangerous. So thank you, Sue, for that donation. And I'm just going to, it's gone a little bit wonky on the PayPal donations, so we'll jump back into that in a second. But don't worry, everybody, I do address all of the donations, so I will get up to date with the PayPal ones and the super chat ones. And I can see one going through from Tina, and Tina has donated $10. Thank you for that. And the message is, I want to donate and I can't help myself. So thank you for that, Tina. As I said, you don't have to donate, everybody. These live streams are just a place where we get together and can interact in a live setting. But if you literally can't help yourself from donating, then thank you very much. It is much appreciated. Let me just take the live chat room down a little bit or move it down a little bit because the vote for the cover was getting a little bit in the way there. But thank you for that, Tina. And I can see Jennifer's just popping in there as well with another donation. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And that's for $10. And the message is, Phil, you were right about the spelling. Corey will shoot me, laugh out loud, and You've Got to Hide Your Love Away is the right title, came from the movie Help. So thank you for that, Jennifer. So yeah, it always seems the case that when you're thinking about a song and the song title's really long and you think, you can't remember if they do abbreviate them. Sometimes there are songs that have very long titles, but they're just abbreviated to 2 or 3 words because you kind of get the gist of it. But that is one of those songs where, yes, a very long song title, but it was one of the first songs that I learned to play on the guitar. So yeah, had a lot of fun playing that one. Thank you for that, Jennifer. Right, let me talk about the video that's coming your way tomorrow night. It's going to be released at 8 p.m. That's 8 in the evening, just to clarify. Or that would be 2000 hours, I think, if you're using 24-hour timing system or classifications. But I'm going to be releasing it, tomorrow at 8 p.m, which I guess is roughly, I'm going to take it from 12 midnight. It means it's 20 hours time. Yeah, just under 20 hours time. We're going to be releasing the video, and that is the interview, the first ever interview that I've done in this room with one of the musicians who has played with so many people, session guitarist Phil Palmer, and I've mentioned about him spending so long with Eric Clapton, I think about 25 years, something like that. Dire Straits as well, of course, sharing the stage with Mark Knopfler, and he played with George Michael live on tour in the studio as well. I think he played on the album Listen Without Prejudice, that George Michael, Tina Turner as well. He was playing for her on her huge world tours. So yeah, he's been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and he was in here talking to me, and I've videoed it, obviously. I'm going to be releasing it tomorrow night, but it's the first one ever on the channel, so it's great to be able to expand the channel a little bit. I'll see how that goes. Hopefully a few people are going to be watching it and can share it around, because those types of videos I think is great as a little bit of a detour on the channel, but it's not really a detour from what I do, looking at musicians and talking to musicians and getting a little bit more insight on performances, especially with Phil. You get the insight of so many performances, like at the Golden Jubilee, for example. We talk about that, and him playing a solo for Bryan Adams live. I think that was in 2002. It might have been the Silver Jubilee. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was a performance, and a lot of these performances that you can go and watch and see exactly what Phil's talking about. He also brought his guitar with him, his Fender Nocaster, so he was playing on that, and yeah, it was great to just sit down. I had the sofa in here and had the 3 cameras set up, and fortunately everything worked, which was unbelievable, because it's just me setting everything up. It means I had to obviously go around, start all the cameras, get the mic, and make sure that Phil was set up with his mic, that I was set up with my mic, and yeah, this is really crossing my fingers that everything that was supposed to be recording was recording, and it did, which is great. So anyway, it might be something that we can do more of in the future. I think it'd be great for musicians to come in here and just to have a chat, exactly as I did with Phil, because I just find it really interesting myself, but I think it is interesting to hear it from the musicians, and for them to be able to explain what they were thinking, what they were feeling while they were on stage playing in front of thousands of people. I think with Phil, there's a solo that we talk about where Eric Clapton broke a string and then asked Phil to play a solo where he wasn't even expecting to play a solo. So he kind of takes you through his thought process and what he did in that scenario, because it's one of those things that, especially on that kind of setup, I mean, he was playing in front of, I don't know how, like 40,000 people at least. I mean, when you look over the crowds, it's ridiculous. I think that was Nebworth, and it was just a crazy crowd. But to be suddenly thrown into the spotlight for a solo that you don't usually do that. Eric Clapton usually plays his solo, but he just had to suddenly do that. So really interesting. Anyway, you can watch it all tomorrow. And we did speak for about 2.5 hours, a little bit longer than that, but I have edited it down, or at least edited lots of topics down to about 20 minutes. So that's going to be the video tomorrow. It's going to be about 20 minutes in length, and the video that I've edited together, I sent that over to Phil and his team last night, and Phil watched it and gave it all the green light and said it's fine to release. And this is the thing that was something that they had asked for me to do the edit, but then for them to see it before I released it. But it's great in that it's all given the thumbs up, and I was hoping that I wouldn't have to re-edit it, because it would have then been a real rush to re-edit it after tonight's live stream and then all day tomorrow and try and get it on, especially because I've said that I'll release it at 8 p.m. to get it then up on YouTube by 8, especially with uploading and the file size, all that kind of stuff. But it's great in that they've given it the thumbs up, and we are going to be watching it tomorrow night, so look out for that. As I've said before, and I said in last night's video, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get a notification, obviously, that the video's been released, because I don't want you guys to miss it, because it is the first ever one on the channel, so it is a bit of a landmark video. So let me try and, I tell you what, let's have a look at, keep things organized, but let's have a look at the likes. 294, we are getting close to our target of 315 already, so if you can hit that thumbs up, that'd be massively appreciated. It really helps this channel to grow, and for this live stream, but for all the videos to get out there on the whole. So anyway, thank you guys for subscribing as well, because we have another mini announcement about that. We have now reached 237,000 subscribers, and I think that happened pretty much just as I went live for tonight's live stream. So thank you guys for subscribing, and thank you for subscribing. It is the wisest thing to do for tomorrow night's video, so that you probably get notified. Make sure that you hit that bell when you subscribe as well, to definitely get notified, because I think a lot of people think that if you subscribe then you'll get notified for every video. That's not always the case. Some of them can fly under the radar, and I always say that if you have requested a video, make sure that you get notified so that you don't miss your analysis, because that's how the analysis videos work. They get requested and I look at them, and I think I mentioned this in the last live stream, that you get the occasional comment with people saying, why did you choose this performance? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And I say, I'm not choosing the videos, I'm literally just asked to analyze them, so I do. And that is the case for all of the videos, even the auto-tune, pitch correction videos. People have asked me specifically about a video and have asked me to do the pitch monitor, to have a look at it, to see whether it is auto-tuned or pitch corrected or not. So that's exactly what I do. I'm not going to a particular artist's YouTube channel and trying to find an auto-tuned video just because I want to try and show that they use auto-tune. I'm just literally sent the video. So that's why recently on Voctiv, the a cappella group, one of them that I was sent, the only one that I was sent to look at, was pitch corrected. So obviously I'm going to mention that in the video, because I just keep them objective with the analysis videos. So then I did another video on Voctiv, which was a live performance, just to, if anything, show the differences between the two, because some people still argued the fact that the first one wasn't pitch corrected, that they were just that good live. And in that second video I was just explaining that being on lines isn't that good. The greatest singers of all time aren't on lines, they're not auto-tuned or pitch corrected, they naturally sing sharp and flat, and that's what makes their voices so good and stand out from the rest. So when you listen to a great singer and a great a cappella group, they don't sing on the lines, and it just proved the point that when they did sing live, their voices actually shifted in pitch, but they shifted perfectly together. So that's why I did a second video, just to show that they do it live, they have the ability, and the difference between pitch correction but then a live performance. But anyway, that's enough of that. You guys can check out those videos here on the channel, they'll be here somewhere. But anyway, it looks like we have already reached our target for the pick roulette tonight, which was 315 likes. So thank you guys for that. You can keep on hitting that thumbs up. We'll see what kind of number we can get by the end of the live stream. But you can still do this in the future on catch up. Keep on hitting that thumbs up. Let's see where we end up. Right. Well, tonight we are going to be having the pick roulette later on. If this is your first live stream, hello to you. Introduce yourself to the live chat room, say hello. That's how everybody starts, and then we get to know each other and become very familiar. Even though there are a lot of usernames, we do become familiar with the usernames that are in there because we do this on a Saturday night and a Tuesday night. So we get to tune in and interact in this live setting twice a week. And I always say, if you want to double your chances of winning in the pick roulette, because some people say, oh, I can't believe I've never won the pick roulette. And some people have won twice. It has happened. The odds of that are slim, but it has happened. And if you want to double your chances of winning, then you can tune in on a Tuesday and a Saturday. And most likely what's happened is the people that have won twice are probably entering on the Tuesday and the Saturday. So they are literally doubling their chances and therefore maybe picking up a couple of wins. So to have your chances increased of winning that signed Wings of Pegasus pick or the custom-made signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt, then just tune in on Tuesdays. It's always the same time, 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Anyway, let me just pop into that super chat window. I think there's been a little bit more action in there. I'm gonna have to scroll up to make sure I don't miss anything out. Maria has donated $2. Thank you for that, Maria. And the message is wobbly. Happy live stream, Phil, and everyone. So thank you for that, Maria. It seems like wobbly is the buzzword for tonight on the live stream. And the previous live stream, actually the one before that, it was jollily, because we found out that that's actually a word that I thought I'd invented, but it exists. So we are jollily wobbly tonight. Thank you for that, Maria. And Jennifer's donated $5 again. Thank you for that, Jennifer. The message is, Phil, one last question. Did your friend like Eric? Have heard people say he is really nice or a real pain in the rear. Just wondered. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And yes, Phil did like Eric Clapton. He played with him for over 25 years. And I'm sure that having that kind of relationship on the stage, you've got to get on. You've got to like each other. So I think the thing that Phil liked about Eric was that he had a similar personality in that Phil is quite quiet and not, I don't know how to describe it. Probably, yeah, not outgoing, not, what is the word when you are exuberant, or there's a personality type that's the opposite, where you're not exuberant, you're not like the I'm not sure why I can't pick up this word. My brain should know what it is because I actually studied psychology at university and at college, so I should know the words for it. But he's introverted rather than extroverted, so it took a little while for the cogs to turn and to produce the word that I wanted in my head. But yeah, he's what I would class as an introvert, and I think a lot of musicians are introverts because in order to get to a particular level at playing an instrument and playing the guitar in Phil's case, and probably in my case as well, you have to be introverted in that you can spend a lot of time just sitting in your room playing the guitar, working at techniques, and you're not really bothered about going out and socializing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm the exact opposite to my sister. So my sister is the extrovert and I'm the introvert, but probably, I don't know, I have access to extrovert qualities. Probably it's probably due to my sister. Maybe in the genetics there's part of the introvert. I think definitely you've got to be that way inclined to do the hard work side of music, to get into how to market yourself, setting up a website, recording your own album, producing it yourself, doing videos, editing videos. It's all just yourself doing all of the editing, all of the production in a room by yourself. You're not going out socializing every night. You're not even going out playing live every night. You can go out and play live, but which is probably seen as the extrovert part of it. But then you've got to do all the work behind the scenes, which is the introverted part. So yeah, I think that Phil liked the fact that Eric seemed more introverted and the similar kind of personality. And I think maybe that's something that can probably get confused and misinterpreted, that people that are quiet, because they're not outgoingly social or extrovert in nature, when people say hello to them in maybe a public setting or in a party or something, they're not naturally outgoing. So they might seem like they're a bit awkward or not really comfortable, because they probably aren't. So you might get somebody going up to Eric Clapton saying, "Oh, hi Eric, great to meet you, how are you?" And he might say, "Oh, hi, yeah, good to meet you." And he might be really quiet and try and escape that extroverted kind of scenario that can be quite awkward for introverted people, like meeting new people, all that kind of stuff. So it might just be something that the people that get the wrong end of the stick are just maybe more outgoing and assume that someone like Eric Clapton is going to be really outgoing and just have, you know, that natural, I don't know, heart and soul of the party, and like, "Hey guys, how are you all doing tonight? I'm Eric Clapton, let's have a great time." I think a lot of artists aren't actually like that. They're very quiet, away from cameras and away from performance, because they've had to be to get to that level at what they do. But anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. And I think we're up to date with the Super Chat donations, so thank you guys for those. Again, by the way, I'm just assuming that this live stream is working, that the audio's working, that you can hear me and see me, and it's not loading and all that kind of stuff. As always, I have a look into the live chat room just to see some of the comments in there to make sure that they don't go through saying that we can't hear you, but all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to assume it's all fine. But I can see, that Rena's about to go through, tagging Wings of Pegasus, saying, "I think he's a lot like George Harrison, who also had that introverted personality, except when he drank, according to some people." So thank you for that. Oh, that's just removed. Anyway, that was just a comment on George Harrison. And I mean, sometimes, I don't know whether there was an emoticon thing there. Sometimes the emoticons get removed, or the whole comment gets removed, because of the pictures. I know that some of them are held for review by YouTube because of using certain pictures. I don't know how it works. But anyway, yes, George Harrison very much struck. Very much. Again, my brain is putting struck into... What did I say? Very much. Struck into much and made it muck. But anyway, very much struck me as an introverted personality type. And I've mentioned before about the fact that I went to college in Henley-on-Thames. And yeah, his house in Henley is very... it's now, I think the gardens are open to the public, but it's like an estate, and it might be a council protected, I'm not sure what it's like, a heritage site or something like that, where you can go and walk and appreciate the grounds of where it was. But this is in Henley-on-Thames, and it was literally about 50 meters down the road where I went to college. At the top part, there were two different sites of the college, and there were one at the top of the hill, which was a nightmare. If you had a lecture at the top of the hill, you had to walk all the way up to the top of the hill, have your lecture, and then the next one might have been at the bottom of the hill, so you had to walk all the way down. And yeah, it wasn't a short walk, but at the top, George Harrison's, the gates to his house was about 50 meters away. So as you walked out of the college, out of the driveway, just look to the left and you could see the gates there. A very nice property indeed. But that's where George Harrison lived, and that's the property where the guy managed to get over the fencing or over the walls. It was pretty much like a castle on the outside. It actually had an outhouse, which is where the security person would sit, and the gates were large as well, but I think they were just iron gates you could see through, because you could see the outhouse where the security guy was all the time. And the walls were, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 meters high. You know, even to get over those would be very difficult. But I think the person that actually got in there and stabbed George, managed to get through all of the security somehow. I don't know how, but this is something that I did mention in a video that I did on George Harrison quite a while ago. I did mention about just the way that, these people that are just crazy. Obviously, you've got a screw loose, and he managed to get in there, and it's a very stressful, sad situation for George, and it's something that Danny, his son, said that he never really recovered from because of his injuries, but also being the age that he was, having to go to hospital and all of that kind of stuff, just the stress of the whole situation. But yes, anyway, I digress. But something I have mentioned before, you guys can check out that video here on the channel somewhere independently if you want to. But anyway, thank you for all of the donations tonight. And we are approaching 1:45 in the morning here already. So let's have a look at the vote for tonight's cover. It looks like, let me just go into the live chat room and end the poll to see which song has been voted for tonight. And here we go. Here are the results. It is Behind Blue Eyes with 59% of the vote. So thank you guys for voting. And the vote had 297 votes, so 3 short of 300. Thank you guys for clicking on the song that you want to hear. So we will jump into my version of Behind Blue Eyes by The Who, of course. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you guys in a second. Rock!
No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be fated, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance, it's never free.
Hello, Phil here. Thank you so much for watching my cover of Behind Blue Eyes by The Who. I hope you enjoyed it. The names that you can see going up the screen here are the names of my patrons, who I'd like to say a massive thank you to for their support and for making videos like this possible, and for making all my videos possible on YouTube. So thank you guys, your support is massively appreciated. If you want to join me and the gang over on Patreon, head to the link below, the little square link, click on that and that will take you through to the site. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock! So there we have it. That was my version of the Who the Who classic. I suppose if you are really posh from England, you could call it the Who. Humour you, Who are you? Anyway, Behind Blue Eyes, thank you guys for voting for that one. And I'm going to have to get into the donations very quickly because a few more have come in. Thank you guys for that. Quite a few over on PayPal, I think. And as you guys might have noticed, I just moved my right arm, which is highly illegal at the moment because I'm trying to rest it as much as possible. Quick update on the right arm. The left wrist is fine. The right arm, I'm going to have to, keep resting for a while. But I think it is getting better. Ever so slightly, bit by bit. But it's a tendon thing, so it's going to take a little while. But let me just get into the PayPal donations window because we had a donation that came in from Steve for £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message was, let me just scroll down. How does having twin lead guitars work to create their unique sound that helped define Southern rock? So thank you for that, Steve. And, I mean, having twin guitars means, first of all, it opens the world of playing harmony guitar and twin lead guitar parts, if you want to have two lead lines that harmonize with each other. And that is something totally different. That's going to sound totally different when you start doing that. When you compare it, obviously, with just a single guitar line, you can now get, twice the bang for your buck, because you can not only play one melodic guitar line, which might have been great on its own, but you can play another melodic guitar line that harmonizes with it, and just makes it sound even better. As for, that's the advantages from, a lead perspective. You can take it in turns. You can have rhythm underneath the lead, which again is huge, meaning that when you're playing your lead guitar solo, there's no dropout, because when there's only one guitar and you go into a solo, the only thing underneath you're playing is now drums and bass. And, unless you've got a keys player, and that can fill in a lot of that space underneath a lead guitar solo. But if we're talking about just your fundamental guitar, bass, drums and vocals, then as soon as you get into a solo, the sound drops out. In that, because you're not going to have vocals in the same place as a solo, somebody singing at the same time, so all of that mid-range of rhythm drops out. So having two guitarists means that you can have that, so it's going to be a lot fuller sounding, which is obviously great live. If you want to replicate the sound of the studio on a live stage, you've got to have that ability to keep it full sounding. And more often than not, what happened in the studios is that bands, even when they didn't have two guitarists, the lead guitarist would put down a rhythm track underneath his solo, so then when they played live, it sounded a bit empty because that guitar underneath the lead, just supplying that rhythm, didn't exist in a live setting. So that's a huge advantage. We can talk about having two guitarists playing rhythm, again, massive advantage, because you get to split up your chords, which means you get to do different voicings of the same chords. And you might even have a variation of a chord. So you could have one just playing maybe a fifth at the bottom of the guitar, maybe first fret F, for example, and then you could have the second guitarist playing third fret, maybe an F sus2, leaving that high E string barred but open, so you get the blending of chords, which again is going to make it sound so much more interesting. But then you can get two guitarists playing the same chord in different positions, so you're effectively getting the sound of 12 strings rather than 6 strings. So again, it's all about getting that fuller sound live, and that is definitely the advantage. It'll just a few of the advantages, but there are so many. But thank you for that, Steve. I'm going to have to just rattle through these. Suzanne has donated £14.38. Thank you for that, Suzanne. The message is, received my Wings of Pegasus CD yesterday. I'm crazy excited. So thank you for that, Suzanne. Good to hear that it has arrived. And Richard has donated £14.38. Thank you for that, Richard. The message is, hello, Phil. Saw the video announcement yesterday. Thanks. Question. Currently, are you enjoying more analysis of song / guitar techniques or of vocal singing abilities? So thank you for that, Richard. And at the moment, because I'm resting my right elbow, and I have been resting my wrist as well on the left-hand side, so I'm not having to wear the support anymore. I've really been having to focus on more vocal-based analysis videos, and that's where the auto-tune thing's tied in, but also looking at the pitch monitoring software, looking at some of the great voices of all time, or the greatest voices of all time, and I have found that interesting. And it has been a nice change of pace, because I have been doing guitar analysis videos for 3 years, something like that, and it's pretty much always been along those lines, looking at performances. And I mean, relatively rarely have I focused on just a vocal, whereas that's what I'm doing at the moment. So it has been an interesting change of pace for me. It just so happens that it's had to have happened because I can't get the guitar out to demonstrate things. But yeah, it has been enjoyable. I think just looking at any great performances and analysing them, I just enjoy that, full stop. But it has been interesting to look at some of the best singers of all time and exactly what was going on with their voices, like Nat King Cole that I did recently, where I didn't notice previously before actually looking into it and analysing. And that's another thing I get asked about, is when I'm listening to music, am I constantly analysing it? And I said in that video that Nat King Cole is always being played in our house at Christmas, but I'm not listening to it, analysing it. You just listen to it and enjoy the fact that it's just the sound of Christmas. But then when I looked into it and started concentrating and analysing it, you can see how Nat King Cole ended his vocal phrases without the consonants that should have been there, with the T's on the end of the words. He didn't pronounce them to make the vocal sound smooth. So all of these things I pretty much notice only when I go into analysis mode. Other than that, I can just enjoy the performances. But anyway, thank you for that, Richard. And Ewa has donated £2 and 91 pence. Thank you for that. And the message is, hello all wingers, with somebody waving. I think for once I'm up at 13 minutes past 1 with a smiley face, and I think that's in the morning. 13 minutes past 1 in the morning. So thank you for that. Oh, and this was sent at 13 minutes past midnight my time, so obviously an hour earlier or an hour later is where Ewa is at the moment. So wow, we're gonna have to get through these donations, because that was 45 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, something like that. Lisa has donated £21.57. Thank you for that, Lisa. The message is, hi Phil, you've analysed so much music. Is there an era / decade in which you think music was inherently better than in other eras? If so, in what way? Again, this is one of those questions that could go on all night, but I say generally, with the amount of artists that I've looked at, analysed, and trying to quantify where the music industry or music accelerated the fastest in terms of technology, ability, and just musicality, I would say it has to be the 60s. For me personally, just looking objectively at musicians, bands, and technology, how it all happened in the 60s going into the early 70s, because at the end of the 60s is where we started to get people now having the ability to add distortion to their sound, especially in the 70s. But we've got distortion in the sound. We've now got volume, which wasn't achievable in the early 60s, where you could now put on festivals. And again, Woodstock 1969, that was a huge date for live music, but also for technology to have the ability to play music at that volume to so many people so they could hear it. And like the Beatles, they had that problem that they were too advanced for the year. So when they started to get really popular in the mid-60s, for example, playing live, they couldn't hear themselves, let alone the crowd hear what they were doing, because they just had really puny amps and their vocals even weren't going over any kind of system that could project it loud enough. So that's, I mean, half the reason why they stopped performing live. It was pointless. They couldn't hear themselves and the audience couldn't hear them. It's just basically them standing there going, hello, we're the Beatles, and all of their fans screaming. So, yeah, massive advance in technology at that time. Jimi Hendrix, especially me being a huge fan of his, the way that he got into techniques in the studio using guitar effects to get weird and wonderful sounds, but especially in the 60s going into the 70s, all of the great bands, even in the early 70s, were pushing the boundaries of production and what could be achieved in the studio. But the way that they got their sounds, they were having to do it old school. They were, going into, to get reverb, they were going into a cave in order to record that sound. They were finding physical spaces that had the sound they wanted and took a microphone into that space. And yes, so many different things that they were doing. So yeah, anyway, that is something that I could talk about all day. But if I had to pick a decade, I would have to say the 60s, just because of how, the British invasion, for example, how music just exploded at that time and then really influenced the later decades, and then getting into, when we're talking about distortion, the heavier genres of music all stemmed from that. It's just a natural progression to have those bands that now were heavier into the early 70s, late 70s, Van Halen, into the 80s, where you now had the whole glam rock, the metal side of things, the heavy metal getting really heavy, detuning, going into the 90s where you now had grunge and detuning again, and more crunchy sounds, but the heavier sound of detuning your strings. So yeah, it's just, really did open the floodgates. Anyway, thank you for that, Lisa. Let's move up to Marge, who has donated £1.44. Thank you for that, Marge. The message is, my husband refers to alcohol as wobbly water, with a smiley face. So thank you for that. And I suppose maybe vodka could be wobbly water, because it does look like water. But I don't drink, so yeah, I think it's probably a bad idea. From what I gather, vodka is very strong. I think one Christmas, maybe when I was in my early 20s, I got a tiny bottle, or lots of tiny bottles. This is the thing, that when you teach guitar, sometimes your students at Christmas might give you a gift. And one gift that I did get was a massive bottle of lager, but I don't drink. And so I did keep it, because I thought, right, when, I am more popular and people are buying my CD, I'm going to celebrate and drink this massive bottle of lager. But unfortunately, it took about 15 years, and it had long since been thrown away. So I didn't really celebrate with anything. But more likely, probably a cookie cake or something, or with a pizza is a better celebration for me personally, because I'd enjoy that more. But they gave me these tiny examples of, I think it was like whiskey and vodka, something like that. And I had one of those, or tasted one of those, and thought, yeah, those kind of drinks, whiskey and all that kind of stuff, is not for me. I didn't like it at all. So anyway, yeah, I think vodka is the most water-looking one out of all of those. Anyway, this is the thing about going back to the Wild West, where they just drink whiskey. Unbelievably, I would not have survived in the Wild West. Maybe I would have been quite good at, shooting and stuff, or very much running away, because I'm quite fast on foot. But then if somebody had a horse, then yeah, that would be a problem. But yeah, I wouldn't have been into the drinking. I just have tap water or some kind of water. I'll just join the horses in their water that they're drinking. Anyway, Eleanor has donated £35.95. Thank you for that, Eleanor. That is a straight up donation, very kind donation. Thank you for that. Lucy has donated £2.37 as well. Thank you for that. The message is, how do you feel, fellow wingers and new wingers? Congratulations on 237,000 subscribers. Definitely deserve each one and more because of your dedication to music, your channel and fans. Wishing you continued success with some rock horns, heart and peace. So thank you for that, Lucy. Karen has donated £3.59. Thank you for that, Karen. The message is, hi Phil, you had me chuckle a bit when you said wobble. That's because you reminded me of the old Weeble Wobble toy with its famous jingle, Weebles wobble but they don't fall down. Thanks for bringing me much needed smiles. Cheers, Karen. So no problem. Thank you for that, Karen. I think, yeah, this is a toy that I don't think we had here in the UK. There was maybe something that, maybe it went down the stairs. But yeah, I don't think it was called a Weeble Wobble. It's called something else. Oh, I almost had it then. Just some obscure toy name. And I know what it is, and that's going to annoy me now because I think my brain has stored somewhere what this chain going down the stairs was called, but I can't remember what it is at the moment. But anyway, thank you for that, Karen. I think Carla mentioned to me over on Facebook about the Weeble Wobble toy or something like that. But thank you, Iris or Carter. The message is, hello from Carter. Thank you for this £2.88 donation. The message is, hello from Carter. Some of us actually waited last night in the vain hope you would appear. Rock. Yeah, so yeah, apologies about that. A bit of a glitch with YouTube. They did notify some people that a live stream was happening last night, but it wasn't. It's always Saturday night, so apologies for that. But we, as I said before, on this live stream we had some very early birds to this particular live stream. Slinky, I just saw that in the live chat room. Thank you for reminding me. That was, I think I did know that it was Slinky. It just would have taken me a bit more time to get the name of that particular toy. Cheryl has donated £7.19. Thank you for that, Cheryl, and it is a straight up donation without a message. Carla has donated £5.26. Thank you for that, Carla, and again that is a straight up donation. Jill has donated £20.13. Thank you for that, Jill. And the message is, missed watching lately, but I'm glad to be back, enjoying you and everybody. You rock, Phil. So thank you for that, Jill. Good to see you at tonight's live stream. And Diana has donated £10 as well, and that is a straight up donation. So thank you for that, Diana. And that is now up to date. We are up to date on the PayPal donations. So thank you guys for all of these very kind donations. It is much appreciated. It makes such a huge difference to everything that I can do on the channel. Just keep pushing forwards, and your donations very much are the reason that tomorrow night's video can happen anyway, just in the first place, because I had to buy 2 extra HD cameras to get the different angles. I had to buy lavalier mics, new ones. I did have one originally, but it was really old, and when you moved the lead, it kind of did that interference sound, like the static sound, so it wasn't very good at all. So I could actually afford to just kit out myself with new cameras and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that I have learned from doing that video is that we shot that in the afternoon, but of course it was going into the evening, so things got a little bit darker. Even though I had lighting set up, sometimes the sun would come out, so it meant that keeping the lighting and the look consistent was really difficult. Sometimes it was a bit darker, sometimes it was lighter, but that was just the nature of doing it during the daytime. Sometimes the sun would come out, which is rare here in the UK, but yeah, that's something that I'll learn for the future, maybe to close the doors and put the blinds across or something, but that might just be a bit weird, locking ourselves into a studio like that. Anyway, hopefully in the future we can maybe do something similar, and yeah, maybe work it out. What I will do, definitely, if I buy another camera, is if I do another interview, is buy another camera, because the one that I had to use for the front on shot was my old live stream. Oh no, I used my SLR camera, and that had a bit of a delay to it, and the frame rate was quite low because it was feeding it into my computer and then recording the screen. So if we do another interview, I'll definitely buy another camera so that we can have that front on, and that would only be possible, and is only possible, because of all of your support. So thank you guys. It makes such a huge difference, because I wouldn't have been able to do that otherwise. Right, let me just mention that I'm gonna have to run through these pretty quickly. This is super chat donations. We had one that came in from Brooke, who has donated $5. Thank you for that, Brooke. And the message is Phil, have you heard the song Run for the Roses by Dan Fogelberg? It's about the Kentucky Derby. So thank you for that, Brooke. I don't think I have, and I'm not even sure what the Kentucky Derby is. I know, is it a race of some sort? Is it horse racing or something? Maybe. It sounds like it's a horse racing kind of thing, because here I think that's what we call derbies, but I'm not really into horse racing, so I'm not sure if that is an event like that. But anyway, thank you for that, Brooke. M has donated $5 as well and says prayers to Ukraine. So thank you for that, M. I think everyone, I mean, pretty much everyone in the world apart from Russia is echoing that sentiment. I'm sure all of you guys are in the live chat room, but yeah, just crazy. And I don't really want to mention this too much, but I did see a video where Putin, before he started the war, he said that he had a problem with the forces having all of their weapons, and I'm not sure really how to describe it, but having weapons to protect themselves on their borders. And obviously Ukraine bordering Russia, it meant that Ukraine might have the weapons on Russia's borders, but the weapons are for defense, and this is all to do with them potentially joining, maybe not joining the rest of Europe and being part of, you know, the same club for some reason. I don't know why, but the name of everybody I don't know why it's disappeared from the top of my head, but all of the European countries that are part of the same organisation, and when we are part of the organisation, it's basically to have peace. So any country that signs up to it means that they have weapons in order to protect themselves just in case a country goes mental. And here, Russia, a very good example of this, where they will need to protect themselves. And that's exactly what Ukraine wanted to do, but they didn't sign up, or they weren't involved in said organisation, which I can't believe. It's been in the news so much, but it's not at the front of my brain at the moment. But basically that was Putin's reason for attacking them, is just in case they were to attack Russia. But starting a war just in case somebody's going to attack you, I was saying this to my dad earlier. Oh, NATO, thank you for that. I saw it in the live chat room. So joining NATO, that's the organisation who then supply the means to protect yourselves as a country so that everyone can have peace. They're not given weapons to start. NATO countries aren't invading other countries trying to do a land grab or anything like that. But anyway, so Putin said that, yeah, he didn't like the fact that they would now have more missiles. So he's starting a war because just in case they invade him, which would never happen. But it's like saying, I said to my dad earlier, it's like seeing that your next door neighbour has just bought a gun. So you go and shoot your next door neighbour and kill them because you thought, well, they've got a gun, so they might have killed me. And then your next door neighbour sees that you've got a gun, so they kill you because they thought you might have killed them with your gun. And then it goes on and on and on. And the logic just is fundamentally flawed. To attack a country and kill people because you think that they might attack you in the future, it doesn't make sense on any level. And even though I mean here in the UK we're in a unique situation because Putin's air defences and his jets have been in UK airspace all the time. It was on the news regularly that Russian fighter jets are in UK airspace and have to be escorted out of our airspace by our military. So he's always doing this. He's putting his military into other countries where they shouldn't be. And now he's saying that he is starting a war because there's weapons on his border. So you think, well, hang on, you've been doing this to the UK, but we don't start a war with you. We just say, look, get out of our airspace, stop being silly. That is the adult way to deal with it. But yeah, I think fundamentally it's just a flawed logic. However you look at it, that to start a war because you think something's going to happen in the future, that's not, it's not going to work. Because say, for example, he now takes over Ukraine. Then Moldova, they have missiles, and he goes, oh, well, your missiles are on our border, so we're going to invade you. And then the country that borders Moldova now has missiles. So he's thinking, oh, I know, Russia is Moldova, so now you've got, and it's going to turn into a constant land grab, because you're always going to have countries next to you who can defend themselves. That's the point of NATO. Anyway, let's move on. So I don't get political. I just wanted to mention about Putin trying to explain what's going on. But anyway, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think pretty much with the world condemning the actions, I think everyone's pretty much finding that middle ground of agreeing that war just shouldn't happen at any point, considering what's happened in the past and the lessons that should have been learned, but for some reason just haven't been on a fundamental level due to flawed logic. But anyway, thank you for that, Em. I don't like to get political with the live streams, but that was a donation that came in from Em, quite rightly saying prayers to Ukraine. So thank you for that. Diane has donated $10 twice, so thank you for that, Diane. David donated $5 as well, and there's a cat saying something is too small for me to see. Maybe it says something one on there, but thank you for that, David. And Jen has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Jen. The message is looking forward to enjoying some Chinese for my upcoming birthday. What's your favorite Chinese dish? Thank you for that. Probably the pancakes or the beef chow mein. Maybe just the egg fried rice. I usually just go for that when I order Chinese. So thank you for that. Jennifer donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, Phil, I know, but I had to ask, while doing your new videos, did you sing along and wish you could have sung with some of them? Thanks. Take care. So thank you for that, Jennifer. I think these are the kind of songs that recently on the analysis videos that I'm humming during the day or whistling. They are songs that I know very well. So in terms of singing with artists, I don't know. I think it still applies that I see myself as a guitarist first. So yeah, singing isn't something that I naturally think of being on stage just singing. I always kind of have my guitar there. So anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. Lucy donated $9.99. Thank you for that. And the message is, was about to leave the chat. Please do an analysis with Greg Lake's voice. I remember the 1970 live performance of the Sage. Thank you. So thank you for that, Lucy. I'm trying to think if Greg is on the channel here anywhere. He might be. I'm not sure whether it's a copyright thing and it's been removed. I'll have to do a check, but maybe you can type it in, have a search for British guitarist analysis, and then Greg Lake, and have a look for it. But I feel like he's one of those that I might have done an analysis video on, but it might have been removed. Anyway, thank you for that, Lucy. Jen has donated $5 and says, you look nice as always. What shirt are you wearing this evening? So thank you for that, Jen. And it is I can't unzip it because my arm, I don't want to move it too much, but maybe I could try and do it with one arm. It's Back to the Future. So there you go. Can't really see much of it. But that is it. Thank you for that, Jen. Carla says, a slinky. This is from a little while back. Thank you for that, Carla. And Francis donated $10 as well and says, yes, the Kentucky Derby is a horse race, part of the Triple Crown in the USA. So thank you for that, Francis. And that must be 3 races that I don't know about, but thank you. Anyway, we're going to be jumping into the pick roulette for tonight because it's 1:15 already, and we have 451 likes so far. Thank you guys for all of the thumbs up. If you want to keep on doing that, be my guest. It really does help for the live stream to get out there and for the channel to grow as a whole. But let's jump into tonight's pick roulette. Good luck, everybody. We'll quickly do a top tip pick when we get into it. But I'll see you guys in a second. Rock! So let's get the wheel up on screen. There it is. And these darker segments are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, somebody's going away with a signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt. And let's pick somebody. Kevin is going to be our top tip for tonight. So apologies for that, Kevin. Let's give the wheel a spin and see who's going to win. Good luck, everybody. And probably on Tuesday is when we're going to start giving away the limited copies that we have of Phil Palmer's book, Session Man. So stay tuned again. Tune into the live streams because you could be going away with a copy of one of those. We only have 5 of them, and when they are gone, they are gone. And they're signed as well, by the way. Anyway, we are slowing down, and where are we? Close to the t-shirt tonight, but it's not going to be. It's going to be Randy, maybe, or Shawnee 1957, and it is Randy who has won the signed Wings of Pegasus pick for tonight. So congratulations to you, Randy. If you can let yourself be known to Carla in the chat room. No prizes for guessing which word my brain confused with Carla there in the chat room. If you can let yourself be known, that would be fantastic, so that Carla can get everything organised and get that signed Wings of Pegasus pick off to you. Commiserations to everybody else, including Kevin. Sorry about that, but we are now going to open up the entries for next week's pick roulette. So now is the time to type in there. I'm going to try and type this, even though I do type really slowly normally, but even with my arm it's even slower. We have at Carla Murray in order to tag Carla in this comment, and then type I agree exclamation mark like that and send it. So if you want to get your names on, or your name, only one name. I mean, you could have a name, your forename and your surname, I guess. But if you want to get your name on next week's pick roulette, then just copy what everybody's about to do in the live chat room. Tag Carla Murray by typing the @ symbol and then Carla Murray, and then type I agree, and then your name will be on next week's pick roulette wheel. So that'll be next Saturday, and you have to be in it to win it, which means you have to be in the live chat room when your name pops up, so that Carla can get your information and get everything sent off to you. So just keep on following what everyone's doing there. Just quickly, let me have a little look over on Patreon to see if there's a video requested. It might be the fact that we just address a donation before we move on. Diana has donated £20. Thank you for that, Diana. And the message is, we have your CD and enjoy your covers. Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to the video Sunday, Anna and Diana. So thank you for that, guys, for that donation and for ordering the CD as well. I hope that you guys enjoy that and turn it up to 11, of course. And just scrolling up, another one's come in from Jill, who has donated £3 and 59 pence. Thank you for that, Jill. And the message is, Phil, Kentucky Derby is a horse race at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. It runs the first Saturday in May every year. It's the first race of the Triple Crown. The other races are Preakness Stakes and then the Belmont Stakes. Secretariat was a Triple Crown winner. So thank you for that, Jill, for the information. But that is literally, for me, like reading another language. I don't I don't even follow horse racing in the UK, let alone in another country. But I mean, horses are just one of those animals that, for me, are just insane, because they eat grass and hay and stuff. I don't even know what they eat. I mean, they've got to eat grass, but do they eat hay as a treat? Maybe. Anyway, they are the kind of animal that is just pure, like, growth hormone and just lean muscle mass. You think about the amount of protein humans have to eat to put on lean muscle mass, but horses are just genetically engineered to be so ridiculously powerful and muscular. It's like, when you look at a horse, you think, that is amazing. Like, just as a, just as an animal to have that kind of raw strength, but it's the strength that is paired with endurance. So for me, I mean, as a former sportsman myself, the animal is just so impressive. And the fact that, by the way, they can just carry a human and leg it and go at a ridiculous speed, and just a mightily impressive animal. Anyway, thank you for that, Jill. I can certainly see the attraction of having horses and people that train horses. own them, but also just own them for fun, or just as a hobby to just have horses and to ride them. And yeah, it's certainly, I've never ridden a horse. I think I'm probably a little bit preoccupied with the fact that if a horse wants you off their back, then they can throw you off their back, and it's actually quite a way down to the ground. So I think I'll just admire horses for what they are, and I'm not sure I'm going to be riding any soon. But anyway, thank you for that, Jill. So hopefully you guys have been typing in here in the live chat room. I agree. So you can get your names in the on the Pick Roulette next week, but also just in the mix to have your names on there. So I don't think we've got time to play a video. Really, the last call now in order to get your name on next week's Pick Roulette wheel. By the way, let me just give a plug of the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. If you guys want to join in over there, then you can do. Vince will be over there with the what? I just had a total mental blank of what the live stream, the after party. I think we just call it the after party, but I was going to call it the after live stream party, and my brain was questioning myself, thinking that's not what we call it. Anyway, he'll be there with the after party, which I think is what we call it. So you guys can join in there over on Facebook if you are a Facebook user. Join in with that. Vince will be hosting the after party. It is definitely that. And it's where a lot of these lovely people hang out between the live streams as well. So, by the way, Orlando has donated $5 right at the end of this live stream. We are going to be calling it to a close very soon because I have to actually get everything organized for tomorrow night's video with video tags, thumbnail, just making sure that's okay, doing the... what else would I have to do? I think just general organising, making sure that I can get it released at 8 o'clock, because there's always going to be a problem. So I will do that, make sure that's all fully uploaded, that kind of stuff. But I have to do that tonight, ideally before tomorrow, so I can just ideally relax a little bit tomorrow, even though, it's impossible to relax because I want to make sure that everything's okay. So I will be calling it to a close very soon. But thank you, Orlando, for this $5 donation. The message is, I volunteered to be the top tip. Then I realised I was part of the catch-up crew last Saturday, with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Orlando. So Orlando has done that thing that I always mention, where people comment on the video thinking it's live, but it isn't actually live. And as you can see in the top left-hand corner of your screen, it is 1:24 in the morning here, 24 seconds past, 24 minutes past 1 in the morning here in the UK. So it is very late. I am going to have to call this to a close. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. As I said, make sure you are subscribed and that you hit that notification bell to see this first ever for the channel video tomorrow, an interview with Phil Palmer, session guitarist here in the studio, and we will see what we can do in the future. And the problem with trying to organize interviews, that kind of stuff, is that it would take me a long time to organize it. It's just that Phil approached me about the interview and asked, if I would be interested in interviewing him. Of course, I said yes. And because he was in the UK and would be close to London, and it was local to where I was, it meant that he could pop into the studio and have a chat. So it would have to be something in the future that can be organized without me having to spend lots of time chasing people up on it. Maybe just throwing it out there that the studio is open. If people are in and around London and they want to come in, have a chat and have an interview video up on the channel, it's probably going to be good for the channel, but also good for them to get out to all of you lovely people and maybe make you aware of their music, their tours, the things they might be releasing at that time. It could be a good way to almost have that chat show kind of exposure for their product. But the great thing for me would be that I'd get to analyze live what they're doing and get to pick their brains about their music and how they approach it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Look out for that video tomorrow night. And I will be here again live streaming on Tuesday night, 12 midnight, Greenwich Mean Time, as always. And I'm sure we can talk about the video because it would have been released by then. And I can just get your thoughts on it. And it's great to interact with you guys in this live setting. And thank you just first and foremost for joining me on these live streams. Your company is much appreciated. So I will see you at that video tomorrow night. I hope you have a great rest of your evening tonight or morning, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. And I'll see you at tomorrow night's video. Rock!